What's going on, guys? It is your girl Dax. Welcome back to the channel, and it's time for a top 5 video. So technically the title of this video is Dare You to Try It, you know, top 5 series I dare you to try, but I figured that would be too easy for me to recommend my top 5 favorites, which I have already done, or I have at least already discussed my top 5 favorite series. So on this one, I kind of want to talk about series that I either don't talk about as much, or series that I don't think I've ever talked about, period. And they're a little weird, and we're gonna turn this into a hear me out. Now, I'm sure most of you know what a hear me out story is, but for those of you who don't, usually it's something that's a little crazy, a little convoluted, and when you describe it to people, they make this face, and you're like, I know, but hear me out, okay? Just hear me out. Hear me out, okay? So we're gonna talk about 5 series that, when I first read it, I was like, you know, and I was like, okay, let's hear them out. So tell me how you feel about senior citizens with paranormal superpowers.
Hear me out.
Dimension 21 is a short story collection about a home nurse aide and her paranormal patients. All she wants to do is provide the best care, the best customer service for her patients, and get the highest remarks and recognition from her boss. However, her co-worker is sick of being, you know, a second fiddle to her, not being in the spotlight. So she pulls some strings and she gets the main character's patient list swapped out for more problematic, troublesome clients, if you will, and she's having to deal with these new senior citizens. Now, this is a comedic horror series, and even though these are technically short stories, a lot of them kind of make callbacks to other stories in the collection, or they intertwine in some kind of way, because we are following the same nurse around. She just has different patients, so that just makes it feel all the more cohesive. We've got exploding heads, okay? We've got patients seamlessly multiplying in front of our eyes and not knowing why. We have wrinkles attacking the town and taking it over. This is just a wild series, but you have to try it. How about some killer goldfish?
I'd hear me out!
Now, I know that sounds a little silly. Not only was I entertained by this story, it's a little educational as well. These goldfish are just taking over Shibuya. They're giant, they're floating in the sky, and they are murking people left and right. Is it silly? Yes. Is it over the top? Absolutely. But it kind of works. When I first heard this story, I was like, there's no way. There is no way this is supposed to be an actual horror story. Like, I thought it was going to be like, you know, Dimension 21, a comedic horror story. But this is actually kind of terrifying, okay? These fish can talk. And they're not talking in full sentences as far as I've read anyway. I haven't actually completed the series, but I've read a good chunk of it. But they can communicate with each other. They're out here breeding. They have these little baby fishes that are lighting up people. Oh, swarms of fish. And they're not going anywhere. So we're following these group of people that are trying to survive. Essentially, think zombies. Think zombie apocalypse, but goldfish in the sky that are just, it's wild. It's wild. It sounds crazy, but I'm telling you, give it a try. Next up, I want to talk about Matic. If you spend any amount of time on this channel, you know how I feel about Matic, and this one shouldn't really be a surprise to people, but Matic, our main character, he's a little different. He's a little weird. He's definitely on the track to becoming a serial killer when he grows up, that's for sure. So I believe he recognizes these things about himself, and he doesn't want to be that person necessarily. He's not trying to go to jail for the rest of his life. So what does he do? He takes up the art of summoning demons, and he finally succeeds in summoning a demon. Why does he want to summon this demon, you ask? Well, let me tell you. So the demon comes and is like, hey, yo, you called? I will give you whatever you want in return for your soul, for your life, for your livelihood. And dude's like, awesome, I want to eat you.
Hear me out.
There's so much more going on in this story. Okay, it's dark, it's mysterious, it's creepy, it's a little sexy. This is a yaoi, but it reads like a dark mystery story with just a hint of yaoi in it. So if yaoi's not really your thing, I would still maybe give it a shot. It's definitely depraved. It didn't take the route that I thought it was going to take, but that is a-okay. I love the route that it is taking. This is such a slow release. Volume 1 came out in February of 2021 and Volume 2 came out in August 2021. And here we are almost full circle, you know, and there's no Volume 3 in sight. And I need to know why, because I want to know what's going on. I don't even remember how Volume 2 ended. I just remember that I was craving Volume 3 after it. So again, this is going to be a series that when it all comes out, I'm just going to reread the whole thing in its entirety. Our demon friend Archduke J is a master manipulator, but our main character is also a manipulator, and we are not to take him lightly either. So if you like dark, twisted mysteries with a hint of smut and a hint of comedy, there are some comedic moments, I say give it a shot. Another one that I have talked about before is Sensei's Pious Lie. We're following a school teacher who has a strange relationship with a student as well as her best friend's fiance. Obviously, this already sounds like a recipe for disaster. But of all the series on this list, this one is the most, I feel like the most serious, definitely the most realistic of the set. And like I said, I've said in previous videos, I feel like it is a important work. I hope it stays on the same track that it is on. I've only read Volume 1 and it's so impactful. I definitely, you ever had a book hangover? Like you read a series or you read a volume and you're just like, oh my gosh, and you got to take a second and take it all in, and you're just like, what happened? How did we get here? What is this feeling that I'm feeling? That did it for me. So it is definitely heavy. It is dark, not dark in the same sense as like a horror story. It could be a horror story, a real life horror story, absolutely, for somebody. I wouldn't want to be in her shoes, but it's a more serious tone than the other series that we have talked about on this channel. All the trigger warnings, all the stuff, you name it, is in there in this one and in the final series that we're going to talk about. But if you can stomach it, give it a shot. Now, since we're stomaching things, definitely hear me out on this one, because even for those of you who know, I just have to say the title and you're gonna be like, Dags, what? No. But Killing Stalking.
Oh wait, hear me out. Look,
listen, I love this series. I didn't finish it though. I did not finish it when I was reading it because it was something that I had to take in pieces. But now that physicals are coming out, and I believe by the time you see this video, Volume 1 should already be out, I can't wait to reread it again and see how it ended. Killing Stalking, our main character, is also a little weird. He's a creep. He's a stalker. He is obsessed with this man, and it's to the point where I'm not gonna say it's one thing to stalk somebody. You should never stalk somebody, but my boy is following him home. He has figured out the passcode to his front door. He has broken into his house And it's just, you ever seen that movie Obsession with Beyonce? Is it Obsession or Obsessed? Anyway, you remember the scene where the crazy chick is like all in her house and wearing her clothes and flops down on her bed and it's like, yes. This is our main character. Is he doing all that? Not exactly. But he breaks into this dude's house and finds out that this man that he has been obsessed with from day one is a murderer. Okay, homie's got bodies in the closet. Now, should I say it serves him right for breaking into his house? Yes. However, he's now in danger because guess who just came home? And that's all I'm giving you. I love this story. It is sick. It is twisted. It is gross. I forgot to mention that it is also a manhwa, so it is in full color. I definitely, when I first started the story, did not expect it to take the turn that it took. I don't know if this is a spoiler or not. I don't think it's a spoiler, but they end up having a relationship of sorts between the two main guys. And if you condoned, there are so many people on this internet who condone this relationship, who thinks that this is cute. It's not cute. It's sick. It's nasty. You need help. They need help. Y'all, everything does not need to be romanticized. This story definitely does not need to be romanticized, but that is another story. That is another rant. That is another dissertation for another time. I'm just saying, if you want a jacked up story, Killing Stalking is for you. Okay? Sounds crazy. It is crazy, but I love it so. Anyway, those are my top 5 hear me out stories, dare you to try stories. Give me, do I count? I guess these are technically recommendations too. Let me know down below what your hear me out story is, or hear me out series is, and I don't know, maybe I'll give it a try. In the meantime, in the in-between time, I will see you guys in the next video. I hope you have a wonderful day, night, afternoon, wherever, whenever you may be, and I will see you next time.